So regarding your experiences, what personal experiences inspired your environmental advocacy? Again, may I repeat? What personal experiences inspired your environmental advocacy?
I came from a very beautiful country, and we have had a really good climate. We had a Mediterranean climate, but now we are heated by a heat wave, and that's too bad for us. That means less winter and more summer. Thank you.
About women empowerment. So, why is it important to include women in decision making about environmental policies?
And I want to connect the degree that I'm studying. I'm studying law. I want to connect law with this. For example, I want to inspire people to raise their voices whenever they see someone that is being an animal, whenever they see someone that is contributing in air pollution, when they see someone that is throwing trash on the sea, on the lake, on the rivers. I want them to raise their voices. Thank you.
And next we have a question from our student.
As someone representing your country in Miss Earth, how do you think small, consistent, school-based programs like ours can create a lasting impact on a global scale?
Thank you for the question. I think that being united, being together, and trying to stay stronger with each other and trying to inspire each other, you can achieve that goal. It's not impossible. Being united means being stronger. Together, you can make an impact. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that empowering message, Miss Albania. I'm sure it will inspire all Marians to continue caring for our planet. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Albania. And
Magandang umaga, everybody. My name is Alexa Roda, and I am from the land down under, Australia. So in Australia, I am in my final months of my Bachelor of Laws honours degree. So I will be a graduate lawyer by the end of the year, and I have been so blessed with the opportunity to be offered a position in a national law firm where they have an amazing environmental program where I can continue my advocacy. I have always been an environmental activist and advocate. I have worked in the Supreme Court of Brisbane, where I worked in the Planning and Environment Court. I have worked in a state inquiry into the poor treatment of our First Nations people, and I have extensively volunteered in non-for-profits. I have done this to champion my advocacy of food waste reduction, sustainable agriculture, and honouring our First Nations people and their knowledge. This advocacy is so important to me because it was my father who taught me this. He passed away when I was 14 years old, but before he passed, he taught me the importance of understanding where our food comes from. He was a farmer, and I'm so proud to say that he was a farmer because he helped nourish communities. And it is not only sustainable practices that help nourish our land, which is so important and topical right now, but it helps nourish communities and our health, like it did for me when I discovered that I had cancer cells in my body. Using Indigenous practices and diets, I helped heal my body. Thank you.
thank you for that introduction. We now welcome one question from our...
So my question would revolve on that. Most, if not all, industrial countries still prioritize economic growth over environmental protection. So as a law student, do you think this is justifiable?
Mining law and environmental law, and actually in my final subject of law school, I have conducted a thesis on the importance of acknowledging environmental law and how our local councils should action environmental law locally because they understand the needs of our community. I think that prioritizing industrialization and your country's GDP is important. It is important to have infrastructure that protects our communities, but there must be balances. As a law student, I understand that everything must be a balance, and there must be checks and policies and regulations in place to protect our communities, but also help our countries and our communities build a better and safer future.
Morning, Miss Austria. It is such an honor to meet you in person and quickly become such a fan. So my name is Robin Balboa, the Student Council Vice President. So my question for you is, Australia has faced devastating bushfires that not only destroy forests and wildlife, but also impact communities and the climate. In your view, how can we strengthen the connection between people and nature so that environmental protection becomes a shared responsibility rather than just a government initiative? I repeat, in your view, how can we strengthen the connection between people and nature so that environmental protection becomes a shared responsibility rather than just a government initiative?
Hi Robin, that's a beautiful question. So in Australia, our First Nations people have so much knowledge on how to protect our community from the devastating bushfires and natural disasters that have been happening in Australia currently and also for the past tens of thousands of years. They have this beautiful technique called back burning, where you burn during the winter to help protect dried leaves so that when it comes summertime where it's extremely hot, there's less to be burned by natural heat and disasters. And I want to emphasize that we need to reconnect through storytelling and reaching out in community to our First Nations people to help provide proper connection where we understand the knowledge that they have to share with us. So to answer your question, to help stop it just being a government initiative and to help reconnect, I want it to be through storytelling, where we sit down and listen to the people that hold the knowledge to help heal our environment and our communities.
Thank you so much for your insightful question. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Australia. Up next, we'd like to welcome our next delegate all the way from Austria. Please welcome her on stage.
Paper bags instead of plastic bags, but in the end, they are incredibly big factories and companies that are profiting off our individual guilt while they are getting away with producing insane amounts of plastic. I think we have to appeal to our governments to make stronger restrictions and to really protect our earth with us. Thank you.
And now,
Hey, Miss Austria, I'm honestly so starstruck. So, for my question, Austria has been taking good measures in environmental action. Specifically, I want to highlight its innovative technology like hydropower, solar, and biomass. So, for my question, what do you think is an important piece or process in technology that each country should integrate into its policies? I think is an important piece or process in technology that each country should integrate into its policies.
Thank you so much for the question. So, we've mentioned that Austria is very good in taking climate action. A system that we have that I think is amazing is that we pay a little small deposit every time we buy a plastic bottle or can. It's 25 cents. And then after we have used it up, we have to bring back this plastic bottle or can to the supermarket where there's a big recycling machine. You just put it in, and in the end, you get your money back. This is an incentive for many people to litter less and recycle. Thank you.
thank you, Miss Austria. Give it up for our delegate and please welcome.
За животните. Въпросът ми е защо е важно да се грижим за животните като част от опазването на околната среда.
For the people watching, my question was, why is it important to care for animals as part of protecting the environment?
Защото за мен почти всяко животно допринася за това нашата планета да бъде пречистена. Благодаря.
Because for me almost every animal contributes to our planet being purified. Thank you.
And now a question from our student.
Mabuhay, Miss Bulgaria. This would be my question. Every nation has their own local concerns with sustainability and nature, such as pollution and air quality. As your nation's candidate, What do you believe is the most urgent environmental issue that should be addressed in your country?
За мен най-големият проблем в моята държава е, че това винаги всяка година има пожари в горите. Искам да отстраня това и да накарам хората да бъдат по-добри с нашата природа. Благодаря.
For me, the biggest problem in my country is that there are always forest fires every year. I want to eliminate this and make people be better with our nature. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, please give a warm round of applause to Miss Bulgaria. And our next candidate is coming from Latin America. Please welcome Miss...
Good morning, everyone. Nabuhay, Philippines. Bueno, mi nombre es Natalie Briones, tengo 19 años, soy estudiante de publicidad y modelo profesional y muy orgullosa de estar aquí representando a mi bello país, Chile. Again. Bueno, mi nombre es Natalie Briones, tengo 19 años, soy estudiante de publicidad y modelo profesional y me siento muy orgullosa de estar aquí frente a ustedes representando a mi país, Chile. Ok. Soy modelo profesional y soy Miss desde hace bastante tiempo. Por eso he logrado aprender lo que es más importante dentro de todo este medio. Mi trabajo me ha ayudado a comprender que lo más importante no es cómo nosotros nos mostramos al resto, sino cómo nosotros queremos inspirar al resto. La forma en la que yo inspiro es a base del amor, en base al amor hacia las personas, hacia los animales, pero sobre todo
I am a professional model and I have been Miss for quite some time, so I have learned what is most important in this whole environment. My work has helped me understand that the most important thing is not how we show ourselves to others, but how we want to inspire others, the way in which I inspired that foundation of love. Based on love.
That's true. Okay. sorry, I don't speak English. Les contaré un poco de lo que viene siendo mi país. En mi país existen 4 millones de animales que viven en las calles y este es mi proyecto social. Yo me encargo de educar en escuelas y también educar a las familias de las nuevas generaciones sobre cómo cuidar y proteger adecuadamente a lo que vendrían siendo los animales. Esto porque en mi país todos ellos sufren de soledad y todos tienen una historia que viene en base a la indiferencia.
I'll tell you a little about what my country is like. In my country, there are 4 million animals living on the streets, and this is my social project. I'm in charge of educating in schools and also educating the families of the new generations about how to properly care for and protect what would be animals. This is because in my country, all of them suffer from loneliness and all have a story that comes to pass.
Creo que la indiferencia es el problema más grande que tenemos como sociedad. La indiferencia que existe en mi país hacia los animales que viven en las calles también es reflejada como la indiferencia que tenemos en todas las partes del mundo. La indiferencia por la que no cuidamos nuestro planeta. Nosotros decidimos estar en base a nuestra comodidad en vez de preocuparnos por nuestro futuro. Pero también es muy importante preocuparnos por nuestro presente. Así que yo creo que la educación es la clave para cambiar la mentalidad. Porque la única forma de cambiar el mundo es cambiando primero la forma en cómo pensamos.
Question from our judge.
I think indifference is the biggest problem we have as a society. The indifference that exists in my country toward animals living on the streets is also reflected in the indifference we have all over the world. The indifference that leads us to not take care of our planet. We choose to live based on our comfort instead of worrying about our future, but it's also very important to worry about our present. So I believe education is the key to changing mentalities because the only way to change the world is by first changing the way we think.
And now a question from our judges.
Hello, good morning. Buenos dias, señorita. Okay. Regarding your advocacy, how do you practice your advocacy in your daily life?
La forma en la que yo llevo a cabo mi advocacy es brindando clases y charlas en escuelas de mi país. Estas charlas se centran en cómo criar correctamente lo que vendrían siendo los animales, acerca de la esterilización, que es algo muy importante para no destinar más animales al abandono, pero también para comentarles lo importante que es proteger a un animal sin abandonarlo nunca.
The way I carry out my apocalypse is by offering classes and talks in schools in my country. These talks focus on how to properly raise what would be animals, about sterilization, which is very important to avoid abandoning more animals, but also to tell them how important it is to protect an animal without ever abandoning.
And finally, a question from our students.
Good morning, Ms. Chile. For my question, across the Philippines, many schools have embraced environmentally centered projects. Yet, maintaining and expanding these efforts remain a challenge because of limited support and inconsistent implementation. As Miss Earth, what practical and long-lasting solutions would you suggest to make sure these projects create a lasting and meaningful impact?
En Filipinas, muchas escuelas han adoptado proyectos centrados en el medio ambiente. Sin embargo, mantener y expandir estos esfuerzos sigue siendo un desafío debido al apoyo limitado y la implementación inconsistente. Como Miss Tierra, ¿qué soluciones prácticas y duraderas sugeriría para asegurarse de que estos proyectos creen un impacto duradero y significativo?
Como mencioné anteriormente, creo que el mayor problema que tenemos nosotros como sociedad es la indiferencia. Y como bien planteas en tu pregunta, es muy difícil que estos proyectos se lleven a cabo porque las personas no se sienten motivadas. Creo que lo importante es educarlas primero de cómo cambiar nuestra mentalidad, de cómo trabajar por nuestro planeta. Lo importante que es cuidar nuestro futuro, pero sobre todo lo importante que es cuidar nuestro presente. Porque aquí es donde vivimos y es la tierra que nos dio el mundo. Muchas gracias. Salamat po.
Before, I think the biggest problem we have as a society is indifference, and as you rightly point out in your question, It's very difficult for these projects to be carried out because people aren't motivated. I think the important thing is to educate them first on how to change our mindset, how to work for our planet, how important it is to take care of our future, but above all, how important it is to take care of our present because this is where we live and it's the land that gave us the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias, Miss Chile. Please get Chile, give it up.
Salamat po.
Please welcome on stage England.
Mabuhay, Philippines! From the land of hope and glory and the Garden of England, I am Sophia Mayers, your Miss Earth England. I am an international empowerment coach, underpinned by my professional qualifications as a certified life coach. In addition to this, I am an agency-signed model and dedicated philanthropist. To be a beauty queen is to be glamorous. And one quote that I often hear is beauty is pain. But whose pain is it? Every year, over 100 million animals are tested on worldwide, all in the name of beauty. With my campaign, Paula's Beauty, I aim to not just educate, but also to encourage people to purchase cruelty-free alternatives. But even though I want to end animal testing worldwide, let's talk nationally. Let's talk about England. Within my country, there is a company called MBR Acres in which they test on 6-week-old puppies, all for human gain. Now, I invite you to join me to choose compassion over cruelty and to be a voice for the voiceless. Maraming salamat po!
We now welcome a question from our judges.
Good morning, Miss England.
Good morning.
You mentioned that you are a philanthropist and you also define what beauty is for you. So my question is, how do you define true beauty in the context of sustainability and compassion?
For me, true beauty is in the light of your heart. That to be a Miss Earth, you must lead with purpose and to be deeply rooted in that purpose. That yes, it's important to be glamorous as a beauty queen, but that's only skin deep. That to be a Miss Earth or to be a beauty queen, we must lead with heart and realise that our voices have impact. Thank you.
And now, a question from our student audience.
Hi, Miss Mayers. So I'm Ashley, and here's my question. From its green countryside and serene coast to the heritage of its national parks, England is truly a timeless age beauty. However, these wonders are now at risk due to pollution, urbanization, and climate change. In a world where progress frequently comes at the expense of nature, how would you persuade people that protecting England's environment is a moral duty, one that tells us to choose sustainability over convenience, responsibility over complacency, for the sake of future generations and the planet that we call Earth?
Thank you for such a beautiful question. As an individual, my family's business is to do with waste management. Now, within England, yes, I can agree that even though we have beautiful countrysides, every country can always do better. If we always look to improve, then ultimately we will have a greener earth. Now, on a daily basis, I am able to see that England does suffer with its waste management. And if I were your next Miss Earth International, this is something that I would want to address not just nationally, but worldwide. Our waste production system needs to change. I believe that with correct education within schools like we are here today, that we can truly create impact. Thank you.
And one quick question from our judges.
Good morning, Miss England.
Good morning.
So we are in the school right now. So if we're going to address this student, these young people, what role do you think young people play in addressing the environmental crisis, and how would you inspire them to take action?
To all of the students here today, I leave you with this. No one is you, and that is your superpower. You are the next generation. You are the individuals who are able to create change. Learn from our mistakes and to do better, for you are the individuals that can create a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss England. Up next, we welcome to the stage Miss Ghana.
Mabuhay! Good day, distinguished judges, tutors, students, ladies and gentlemen. I am Cherise Asha AC. I'm a second-year law student at the University of Ghana, an aspiring environmental lawyer, and an active environmental intelligence advocate. I'm a Christian. I grew up in a Christian household with my mom, dad, and brother. I love to read, write, and horseback riding. Did you know that every June 3rd in Ghana is a day of sorrow? On June 3rd, 2015, there was a severe flood that claimed the lives of over 150 people. They all died. It was a very sad day for Ghana. Yet, even after that, every single moment it brings, Ghana continues to record floods. However, there is always the silver lining. To say silver lining means that there is a hope in a very difficult situation. And today, I sit here as that hope. I'm embarking on my project dubbed Trash in Bin, Beautify Ghana, Tiboji for short. This project is a solution-based initiative that aims at four key things termed REAP, where R stands for recycling of plastic waste into economically proficient goods like clothes, shoes, bags, ornaments, and many others. E stands for effective sensitization. Will you believe me when I tell you that there are people in Ghana who think that floods are caused by poor road networks? That is why we need effective sensitization. The next E stands for engaging actively with policymakers. To engage with policymakers for the enactment of laws like finding communities for the accumulation of at least 60% of waste, or arresting individuals who are caught littering for at least 3 days. And the P stands for providing dual bins with 2 sessions, one for biodegradable waste and the other for plastic waste. So we are going to do a very short exercise. Whenever I say Tiboji, you say when we bin it, we win it. Tiboji. Bin it, we win it. Tiboji. When we bin it, we win it. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever you use this slogan, remember my name, Cherise Asha AC, Miss Earth 2025 Ghana. Thank you.
One question from our judges.
Hi, Miss Ghana.
Hi.
You've mentioned earlier about silver lining and what your country has been through with the typhoons and the floods. In relation to that, the Philippines also had many typhoons and disasters this past few months. So what can we learn from these kinds of experiences about taking care of our planet?
Thank you very much for the question. So I think what the Philippines can learn from Ghana, is the REAP method. So where REAP is for recycling, E is for enactment of laws, the other E is for active sensitization of citizens, because believe you me, some people do not know that they may be the cause of floods in their communities, and P is the provision of the dwell bins. I think that the dwell bins will help each and every country. So that should be one major thing that countries should learn from Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, a question from our students.
Good morning, Miss Earth Ghana. You look really lovely today, and it's a pleasure to have you here this morning.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
Julian, and please allow me to ask you your question. As Miss Ghana and an ambassador of both your people and Mother Earth, how would you promote responsible resource management while ensuring that your people still benefit economically?
Thank you so much. One way that I will ensure responsible resource management is through recycling, or in other terms, upcycling for economical proficiency. So when we upcycle plastic waste, you are upcycling them into stuff like clothes, shoes, bags, and other things. And when you upcycle them and you sell them, it all depends on you. I love to buy beautiful things. I have a number of clothes that are made from plastic bottles, and me buying them is profit for the vendor. So I think that is one way that, through upcycling, is one way that will help. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Ghana. Please give it up for her wonderful performance. And up next is Miss India.
Namaste everyone. Mabuhay Philippines. I'm Komal Chaudhary, Miss Earth India 2025. Professionally, I'm a nutritionist and a karate athlete. Throughout my journey, I've learned that strength not only comes from physical training, but also from the food that we eat. And through my advocacy, I want to promote sustainable food and the millet movement. Because millets, these are the ancient Indian super grains that require very less water and chemical fertilizers to grow. They can sustain in harsh climatic conditions. Through Miss Earth, I want to take this Indian secret globally, because I believe that true empowerment comes from sharing and not competing. Thank you so much.
We now welcome a question from our judges.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Regarding sustainable living, you mentioned it a while ago. This is my question. As Miss Earth, how would you encourage people to adopt a more sustainable lifestyle in a world driven by convenience?
So in today's world, the food that we eat has drastically changed. We are more into processed food right now. So through this platform at Miss Earth, I would first want to create awareness about what sustainable food is. And the millet movement is definitely will be very helpful, because this is not known globally. People yet don't know what are millets, so creating awareness and then teaching people that you should take one step at a time and have mindful food at a time. Thank you.
And now, a question from our student audience.
Good day, Miss Earth India. My name is Athena. It's so nice meeting you today. You're so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I would like to ask you, as a Miss Earth candidate, you persistently seek ways and methods to resolve environmental issues, especially in your country, India. What is the most alarming environmental issue for you, and what movements or programs can you raise to solve and reduce the environmental issues in your country?
Thank you so much for the question. It's a really beautiful question. So in India, the biggest problem we face is floods. And it has created a lot of impact on the agriculture. It is threatening the food security. So I believe when we bring millets back in our daily diet, it is very cost effective for the farmers. It can sustain harsh climatic conditions, and it also enriches the soil. So I believe the millet movement would be the best option in India and globally to resolve all our problems. Thank you so much.
That will be all. Thank you very much.
And now one more question from our judges.
Right. Good morning, Miss India.
Good morning.
You mentioned about sustainability earlier. So, sustainability is said to be the language of modern day development. However, we find many people still arguing that sustainability is still a privilege. What are your thoughts on this statement?
So I believe sustainability has always been there around us. We've just become a little ignorant towards it. So going back to our roots and learning what has always been there would be a very helpful choice. So creating awareness is very important in today's day and life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, India. We now have time for one more question.
In relation to your advocacy, if you could speak to someone struggling to live sustainably, what advice would you give?
So to give an advice, I would say sustainability will only be possible if you take small steps at a time. Yeah, small steps at a time. Only then you will be able to follow it. So consistency and discipline would be the key to follow sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you, India. Please, now let's welcome Jamaica.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Hello everyone, good morning. I am Shanae Brown, 19 years old. I am a student and a future pediatric nurse. My silver lining advocacy focuses on safeguarding the mangroves that safeguard us. It's not just a project, it's a call to action, bridging the gap between planet and people. I've already partnered with the forestry department in my country in restoring and protecting these vital ecosystems. As we speak, a hurricane is heading to Jamaica, and it is clearer than ever the importance of these mangroves. It is our silver lining standing ready to protect us in the midst of this hurricane. I believe that change starts with education and action, and that's why I believe we should educate our future generation about the importance of environmental sustainability and encourage each and every one of us to be steward of our planet. I am proud and honored to be the voice of Jamaica's environment, being the change I would like to see. Again, I am Shanae. Thank you.
We now welcome a question from our judges.
Good morning, Ms. Jamaica.
Good morning.
My question is pertaining about sustainability and climate action. What step can developing nations take to achieve both economic growth and environmental sustainability?
Do you mind repeating the question for me?
Again,
yeah.
What steps can developing nations take to achieve both economic growth and environmental sustainability?
Okay. I believe a step countries should take is having the steps goes hand in hand. So environmental sustainability goes hand in hand with goes hand in hand with development of our country. I believe more strict rules in enforcing sustainability will encourage everyone to be sustainable. Thank you.
And now, a question from our students.
Good morning, Miss Jamaica. You look absolutely stunning
Thank
today.
you.
I am Dylan Yambao, the Vice President of the Central Student Council, and I have a question for you.
Okay.
My question is, as a Miss Earth candidate who built a platform advocating for environmental protection and awareness, as well as finding solutions and sustainable alternatives for these impending issues, what is your message to the youth, or to us, the next generation of leaders, in building a foundation that will take care, rebuild, and sustain our environment's beauty and wellness?
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that you're a student council, because I was once a vice president of a student council. So I believe the first step to take is taking up space, using your voice, as in like how you are the vice president of the student council, taking up space, using your voice in platforms that are available to you. As small as you are, as saying in Jamaica we say, we're little but we're talawa. Mean it doesn't matter your size, you should use your voice to encourage sustainability. So I believe that it's not age, it's not how small you are, because one action can go a mile way. Thank you.
What a wonderful answer, Mia. Thank you.
One more question from our judges.
If you were given a global platform to promote one environmental issue, what would it be and why do you believe it needs immediate action or attention?
Could you repeat the ending part? I didn't hear it clearly. The ending part of the question.
Regarding some promotion and environmental issue, what would it be and why do you believe it needs immediate attention?
I would focus on garbage distribution. Because personally it hits home for me. It's just, I believe that if we focus on how we dispose of our garbages correctly, it will go a far way, as in putting things that are non-biodegradable with things that are like plastics together, things that are biodegradable in our gardens, putting things in the right places. That's the thing I will focus on. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Jamaica. Now, let's please welcome Miss Japan.
Konnichiwa. Good day, everyone. I'm Reimi Shimizu, Miss Earth Japan 2025. I'm deeply honored to be here today. Thank you for having me. I'm an actress, model, and also teacher, private teacher at primary school, teaching English, Japanese, society, and so on. Becoming an actress has been my dream since I was a child. It's a hard path, but I'm trying my best to reach Hollywood and win an Oscar someday. Growing up in Japan, a country known for its rich beauty, natural beauty, and advanced technology, I have seen that how convenience can sometimes come at the cost of our environment. From plastic pollution in oceans to excessive overpackaging in daily life, I realized that the change must begin with us, individuals. That's why my advocacy focuses on empowering individual actions for a sustainable future. I believe that individual action is a silver lining that can turn the tide against the environmental problems. To promote eco-friendly living and reduce waste, I practice simple yet meaningful habits every day. However, many people, especially in Japan, think that sustainable living is something difficult and inconvenient. And some people are not even aware of how deeply our choices can affect the environment. But I found it to be more convenient and even economical. So by changing our small choices, we can create a big impact that can reach to a community, society, and future generations. My dream is to promote more people to embrace sustainable living and promote ecotourism, showing that sustainable living and embracing our planet can also mean celebrating our
beautiful planet. Together, we can make sustainability not just a choice, but a way of life. Thank you.
And now a question from our judges.
Thank you for that introduction, Ms. Japan. You mentioned you were a teacher. So the question is, how can we make environmental education more inclusive and accessible to all communities, especially the urban poor?
So it's especially
For the urban poor.
urban poor.
The poor communities.
Poor communities. Well, indeed, the countries which suffer from environmental issues are mainly poor countries. So educating those people is so important, and the non-equality is also a big problem of environmental problems. So the education in poor community is so important, I think.
And now a question from our student audience.
Good morning, Miss Earth Japan. I am so mesmerized by your beauty. By the way, I am Kimberly Pagnoso, and I am one of the student leaders here in San Felipe Neri Catholic School. Now, for your question, as a nation known for its cutting-edge technology, how can Japan utilize its innovation to promote long-term environmental sustainability? Is there a particular green technology or idea you would like to introduce locally, and what impact do you hope it would create?
Thank you for the question. I believe that Japanese technology can help the environment to solve environment problem by creating more sustainable products. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Japan. Thank you for that question. Now please welcome to the stage Miss Liberia.
Mabuhay everyone. I am Miss Monica Abigail Swain, and I'm proudly representing the beautiful and resilient nation, Liberia. I am 23 years old, a student at the Adventist University of West Africa, where I'm studying banking and finance. My silver lining advocacy is all about sanitation. I believe a clean environment is the main base of every nation, because I grew up in a community where waste pollution affects us and destroys our health. Waste pollution is not an easy job. It is hard. It affects children, youth, and elder people. Waste pollution releases toxic air within the environment. Thank you.
And now a question from our judges.
Hello, Ms. Liberia.
Hello.
My question would be, why do you think environmental awareness should start at a young age?
Thank you. I believe that environmental awareness should start at a very young age, because as a child, you should know how to manage your waste. Because children are the first to be affected by waste. It's easier to be affected by waste through children. Thank you.
And now a question from our student audience.
Good morning, Miss Liberia. I am one of the grade 10 students from our school. Given your title and position right now as Miss Earth Liberia and the voice of your country, how will you use or apply this role for the greater good of your Earth? How will you, as a role model, inspire others to maintain the cleanliness, or what we call greenery, of our Earth?
Thank you. I will continue to have a sanitation project to encourage people to continue to properly dispose their waste? Thank you.
Thank you so much for your wonderful answer.
And now, one more question from our judges.
You talk about pollution, right?
Yes.
Okay. If you could create one global environmental law about pollution that every country must follow, what would it be and why?
Thank you. So, one environmental law about pollution will be, so for every country to properly dispose their waste. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have time for one more question from our judges.
Hi, Miss Liberia.
Hi.
How do you think, as you mentioned, you were just 23 years old. How do you think social media helps or harms environmental advocacy?
Well, I think social media helps environmental advocacy because nowadays, majority of us are so focused on the social media. So a social media platform can actually be used to promote environmental advocacy by sharing your videos, sharing tips on how to properly dispose your waste on the social media. That is a great help. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Liberia. Now, please welcome to the stage our host country, Philippines.
Mabuhay everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Joy Marcama from the Philippines. I am a passionate woman, an advocate, and a woman of the earth. I have been involved heavily on disaster resiliency, and I have been working towards progress in the Philippines, having been able to work in 2 tech companies here in our country. We have helped develop a critical communications app that alerts people in times of disaster. I'm also part of the marketing team that innovated and developed and invented a mobile command and control vehicle here in the Philippines that was recognized by DOST's Handa Pilipinas. I'm now working in the city government as a consultant, championing social and civic and economic works, and of course, bridging progress and the future of the people in Bacoor. Thank you.
And now, a question from our judges.
Mabuhay, Miss Philippines. Okay. In your opinion, what is the most pressing environmental challenges facing our country today?
Thank you very much for that. The most pressing environmental issue that our country faces today is climate action. Climate and action of the Philippines. We are part of the global south. And it's sad to say that we actually contribute to less than 1% of the total global emissions in the world. And yet, we always get hit the hardest during typhoons and calamities. And so with that, we should move forward by recognizing that there is a need to call for accountability from our government officials, to craft stronger policies to protect our environment, to encourage people to speak out, and to call for accountability from global north countries to provide aids to Philippines and to other global south countries. Because then again, they produce the most global emissions, and yet we receive the most damage in times of calamities. And I so think that it is not well deserved by the Philippines to go through that, knowing that we have been exerting efforts to move forward with a society that champions sustainability.
And now, a question from our student audience.
Magandang araw, Miss Philippines! I am Samantha Nebrida, and I'm a student of the grade 10 community. So my question for you today, as a voice for the environment, if you were given the opportunity to share a world-changing piece of advice with people who are unaware of the environmental issues our planet is facing today, what would your message be?
Thank you. Simple message should be, the earth that we live now is not something that we inherited from the past, but rather something that we borrow from the future. And so it is our shared responsibility to care for our shared home. And one thing that we can always remember is to fight climate change is to not work against nature. It is to work for nature by producing nature-based solutions to our country, introducing green technologies, economical solutions that can move everybody towards progress without compromising our environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Philippines, for your meaningful insight. We will surely remember your words at heart. Thank you.
We now have time for another question from our judges.
Hi, Miss Philippines. I can sense that you're a very empowered woman, so my question would be, what is the single biggest misconception people have about the role of beauty queen in today's society, and how would being Miss Earth prove that misconception wrong?
Thank you. Beauty queens are often put into a pedestal, showing to everybody that we are face of a brand. But more than being the face of the brand and representation of a certain pageant, we should also be the voice of the people. And I would like to break norms by showing to everybody that you can always speak up for the people, regardless if you have a crown or not. That you should not be afraid to lose your crown just to be able to gain popularity or to gain the likes and approval of other people. You should be the one to always be at the forefront of a fight. Fight for the people, fight for justice, and fight for the environment. If you want to be a beauty queen, you should break misconceptions when it comes to becoming just a symbol of beauty. You should be someone who is not just a symbol of beauty, but also a symbol of progress and be a woman of strength. Thank you.
Thank you, Philippines. Up next, please welcome to the stage Miss Poland.
Hello everybody, my name is Justina and I am proud to represent my beautiful country of Poland. I am a third-year student of marketing and advertising, a professional model and a proud title holder of Miss Polonia. Driven by curiosity and a deep appreciation for diversity, I'm passionate about exploring the world, connecting with people and learning from different cultures. I love fashion, art, and every form of creative activities that allows me to share my individuality.
We now welcome a question from our judges.
Hi.
Hello.
My question is, some people say that one cannot change the environment or the state of our planet. What would you say about that opinion?
Thank you very much for the question. I think it's very misconception because I believe in education and awareness. Like, I believe education can change the perspective that other people are seeing the environmental changes. Thank you.
And now, a question from our student audience.
Hello, Miss Earth Poland. I'm also part of the Great Bend community. And my question for you is, growing up in a country known for its rich natural landscapes and commitment to environmental preservation, was there a moment or experience in your life that made you realize the importance of protecting the global environment? If so, how did that experience inspire you to pursue the meaningful journey of becoming Miss Earth?
Thank you very much for the question. Yes, I had experienced this type of... when I was in the Polish mountains with my family, there were a cabin fully eco-friendly, without any power source. And the beauty of it showed me the importance of protecting our beautiful landscapes in Poland.
As Miss Earth, to promote environmental awareness.
As Miss Earth, I want to inspire others to take action, to promote to promote saving our environment through protecting marine life and reducing plastic pollution. Thank you.
We have time for one more question from our judges.
So my additional question would be, what environmental issue do you think is often overlooked in our communities, and why should people pay attention to it?
As a professional diver, I've been the privilege to
Hi everyone, Mabuhay Philippines, how are you? So before I begin, I want to share a message that I really show what I really am. So my advocacy is rooted in hope. I believe in every crisis there is always a silver lining, a capacity for humanity to act with awareness and compassion. I see how even in the small gestures, wherever it is, like planting a tree, reducing waste, or supporting sustainable choices, have the power to heal, to restore, and to protect Mother Earth. Protecting our environments does not require drastic change. It begins with daily actions, with sustainable choices, and with the willingness to extend a helping hand for our planet. I work as a physiotherapist, and through my profession, I have learned how important it is to restore balance, to heal with patience, and to believe in progress, step by step. As long as there is hope, and it's never too late to make a difference in this world. I want to say thank you, Philippines, for having me and for making my dream come true to be here in Philippines, represent my beautiful country, Portugal. And for final, my name is Raquel Camelo, I'm 24 years old, and I am from Portugal. Thank you so much. Salamat po, Philippines. Hope, because I am very Catholic and my family taught me that values like from I was a child. So I think what motivates me to do the best is seeing and leave delegates from another. So the next, okay, sorry. I want to leave a good legacy for the next generations. So we're gonna make some change on our planet. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Portugal. We have time for one more question from our judges.